You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an I.O. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devan. Here shortly, Funky is going to be joining us for a show, but I appreciate all you guys sticking around, hanging out. No, I'm a little late, obviously. I told you guys in the chat, had Caleb scheduled to come on here. Something came up at the very last second. So he's not going to be able to make it tonight. It's unfortunate. We had a big old show planned. We'll try to get that rescheduled. But got some information to go over. Going to introduce you guys to a couple 2027 recruits. And also 247 came out with their new updates today for the 2026 class. Buckeyes looking real strong there. And today something started a little bit on some message boards. I haven't made any calls or asked. Matter of fact, I just heard about this like just now before I got on here. But Kayden Dixon-Wyatt, they're talking about him flipping out of the class again. I guess USC is on him awful hard. That's the rumor that was started. So I will make some calls and find out if there's any validity to that. I would be absolutely shocked if there is. But while we're waiting on Funky, matter of fact, Funky ain't going to be able to join if I don't send him the link. So let me do that real fast while we're on here. So when he gets on here, we'll dive more into that. But until he comes on, I'm going to pull up some of these 27 recruits that I was wanting to talk about tonight with Caleb, and we'll go from there, man, because the 27 class is obviously a long way to go. I know you guys probably aren't going to be thrilled to hear about the 27 class right now, but me, I follow recruiting all the time, so I'll dive into a couple of them. Obviously, you guys know Keemon Spell, the number 7 player nationally, the number 1 running back. He's 5'9", 205. The Buckeyes are in on him, but at the running back position, it's looking like it's going to be David Gabriel Georges out of Tennessee. He is 6 foot tall, 205 pounds, the number 14 player nationally, in the number 2 running back in the class. He's visited Ohio State a couple times. He has visited Tennessee 6 times. But I have put my prediction in for for David Gabriel Georges to become a Buckeye. And he might be the most important recruit, the most wanted recruit for the Buckeyes in the 27 class. They really want to go after him. A couple wide receivers in the 27 class to pay attention to is Keyshawn Bowman out of Tennessee, 6'1", 174 pounds. I want you guys to listen to this, to the rankings for these receivers I'm about to go over. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and put up the highlights for Monsoon Sales. He is a 5-star wide receiver that the Buckeyes are in on. So while I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and get them rolling for you. Never mind. I don't think I am. I don't know. It's there we go. Oh, look at that. I think I made it work. Yeah, there's Monsoon Sales. But Keyshawn Bowman, he's the number 31 player nationally, the number 5 wide receiver. He recently decommitted from Oregon. There's a lot of Ohio State, momentum there and talk around the nation. The other one is Khalil Taylor out of Pennsylvania, 5'11", 180 pounds. He's the number 64 player nationally, the number 13 wide receiver. Runs an 11 flat 100-meter. So kind of speedy there. Arison Randall out of North Carolina. He's one I don't know much about. 6'3", 210. More of an athlete, but Brian Hartline has been in contact with him. But here's the two that I feel the Buckeyes have the best opportunity at. That's Monsoon Sales right there. 6'5", 195, the number 9 player nationally, the number 2 wide receiver in the class. Obviously, Buckeyes have the number 1 in Jameer Brown already. So Brian Hartline tearing it up. It's going to be a tough pull for us to also land Monsoon Sales, but a lot of momentum there. He's very interested in the Buckeyes, but here's the one that I have my pick in to be a Buckeye, and I'll go over why on a different show, actually. Panky, thank you. Khalil Taylor, Jay Timmons' teammate. Nice. Dakota Grant, 6'1", 185 pounds, number 48 player nationally, the number 7 wide receiver out of that state that we don't talk about. Plays for SFE. All right, remember that, guys. Dakota has played for SFE multiple times, and I have my pick in for Brian Hartline to ultimately get him. Now, let me tell you guys, this is not a full list of all the recruits the Buckeyes are in on. I didn't do any offensive linemen and stuff, but I'm going to keep going down through the list. So those are the wide receivers that I'm going to be paying close attention to there. Going to the tight end position, there's essentially 2 right now that Keenan Bailey is building relationships with. We know Brock Williams from Illinois, 6'5", 210, the number 51 player nationally, ranked the number 2 tight end in the class. I've got my prediction in for him to become a Buckeye. Keenan Bailey is going all out for Brock Williams. Brady Edmonds is obviously the quarterback committed in the class, building a real strong relationship with him. Brock recently visited the Buckeyes, and it couldn't have gone any better. Brock is a no games type of kid, right? He's not going to be playing games in his recruitment. When he makes a decision, he's probably not even going to take official visits, he said. He said if he goes to a school and he feels it's the right fit, he's committing. But I got Funky in here. He's going to join us. What up, Funky? How are you?
What up, Devan? I'm glad to be on emergency call. I'm glad to be back here with you guys. Sorry for a little panting. I had to do a little small jog to the car to get here to be here with you, Devan. And can you just catch me up on what you're talking about? I can guess a little bit, but just help me out a bit.
Just going over a little bit of the 2027 recruits right now. I was waiting to talk about some other things till you got on, but I went over David Gabriel George's. I talked about I have my pick for Dakota Grant, the 6'1", 185-pound receiver, to be a Buckeye, plays for SFE. Funky, I'm sure you know why I picked him to be a Buckeye there. You know my source on that one. And I was just now talking about the tight ends, Brock Williams, and I told everybody that, I have you put in your double equal sign for him to be a Buckeye, correct?
Correct. And yeah, no, you're absolutely right on that one. And Brock Williams, to me, so now I can kind of guess what you're talking about, but I 100% agree with your assessment. He wants to shut his recruitment down soon. From my perception of him, no BS type kid, wants to pick a place, find a home, and continue to work hard and really focus on his career in this, because for him, it's about the long process. His college career is going to be great, and I'm sure he's excited for it and looking forward to it, but he wants to be, one of the better tight ends that ever play this game at the NFL level. So when you're focused like that and you're focused more on the long-term goal and not the short-term goal or where you're going to be playing in 12 months, you're just a way better recruit to be having jump in the class this early. And I put my prediction for him to be a Buckeye, and I stand by that. I think he'll be a Buckeye. But if things change and he chooses Georgia, whatever, in the December or early January when he's planning to recruit, I could totally respect that. And I think Ohio State is excited the fact that not that he's just committing and that he's probably going to commit to the Buckeyes. It's that they're going to get their number 1 target and he's going to be off the board in January or December. And that's a way better position to be in than having to wait and sit on your number 1 target come later in the year. So I expect it to go our way, but if it doesn't, the Buckeyes have a few tight ends, a few in-state prospects that they're definitely going to pursue, and they'll put the heat on if he chooses otherwise. So I think this commitment, really, I mean, obviously, we hope he goes the way we want it to go, but the timeline on it is very favorable towards the Buckeyes.
Yeah, the other in-state one, Funky, D'Angelo-Wyatt would be my number one want. Haven't really got too much information there, but he is 6'6", 285 pounds, the number 283rd player nationally. But these are one of the players, Funky, where I would guess the Buckeyes plan, if they land Brock Williams, they plan on that's it. Dude, but if D'Angelo-Wyatt picks it up his senior year and kind of blows up, I could see the Buckeyes going in and trying not to let him get out of state, even though we've seen that twice already in the 26 class. There's a wide receiver and Brody Fogel, and there's the other 6'6" wide receiver that ended up signing with Oregon. Those are two players, but their class is just full there. But D'Angelo-Wyatt is another tight end one. Funky, I'm going to pull this up, man. Talk about the edges real fast in the 2027 class. Rashid Streets from North Carolina, the number 65 player nationally, 6'4", 230. Buckeyes are in on that one. Abraham Sesse from Pennsylvania, 6'5", 215, the number 79 player nationally, the number 10 defensive end, just recently visited the Buckeyes. Funky, tell us a little bit about the information that you heard there. How'd the visit go? How's the relationship with LJ, and where do the Buckeyes stand right now?
The first one you brought up, the kid from PA, Pennsylvania, the kid from North Carolina, I feel really, really good about the Buckeyes' chances, and I could see him jumping in as early as the new year. I mean, we're sitting at 7 commitments now for the class of 2027, I believe, Devan. I could see it being double digits by the new year, which is crazy, by the way. That's not normal. That's not how things should be, but it's a very realistic timeline for a lot of these kids in the class of 2027 who want to get their spot in this class, because odds are come January 21st or whatever, January 18th, the Buckeyes have a plus 185 chance to be back-to-back reigning national champions, while also having Julian Sain and Jeremiah Smith on the roster. So that's a hot brand, a winning brand, and a brand that pays you money. Like, the Ohio State gives really big nil checks, and you're going to see that again this offseason when we retain more people than what most schools retain, because we're giving them rookie salaries that stay at Ohio State and to try to three-peat in this thing. Not to get ahead of topic, but I saw Carson Hinsman talk about his opportunity. He's not playing in the Senior Bowl, and he still hasn't made a decision if he's coming back for a 5th year. And I'm sure his decision is going to be a little easier when Ohio State shows up knocking on his door with a 7-figure check maybe for him to return to be a Buckeye instead of be a 5th, 6th round pick or whatever the heck he would be in the NFL. Centers don't usually get taken that high, so that's why I give him a pretty lower grade in that sense. But yeah, wait, I completely jumped out of conclusion there. But I do think I feel really good about the kid from North Carolina, defensive end, coming here.
Rashid Streets.
Rashid Streets. I think I put a prediction for him in my write-up on Sunday, Dev, and I stand by that, and I think he's going to join the class.
I thought you put a prediction in for Abraham Sesse.
No, you're right. Oh, my God. So, these names, yes.
Yeah, that's who you're talking about. You're talking about Abraham. Yes, I knew
Abraham.
that.
Yeah, Abraham Sesse. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Sesse,
my Okay, wait, give me a second.
I was like, dang, man, this is new to me. Funky's never told me about Rashad. But Abraham is a better defensive end than Rashad, in my opinion. But everything you just said goes to him. Funky, the two I want to talk about, Ronaldo Perez, the Ohio defensive end, been on the show, talk to him frequently. He's not a lock to the Buckeyes. I put a pick in for him to be a Buckeye. The Buckeyes are trying to narrow down his position, where he's going to end up, because he looks like he might put on more weight to be defensive end. But Funky, check this out, man. My number one want at defensive end in this class is this gentleman right here, Mekhi Brown out of Connecticut, 6'7", 230 pounds, the number 56 player nationally. this is my number one, dude. I watched this guy's film the other day, and I don't know like how smart it is as a football wise. If you really want that tall of a defensive end, you might have a little bit trouble getting shoved around. I don't know, but I really hope the Buckeyes lock in here. Have you ever? I mean, how many 6'7" defensive ends do you know of?
I can't. I mean, the Braxton Rembert being more 6'5", 6'6". That's one of the taller players I've seen recruited to the Buckeyes, and he's probably going to end up being that linebacker edge prospect that Matt Patricia really wants in his defense. Yeah, that's 6'7" seems really, really tall for a defensive end recruit. He seems like a basketball player, but I mean, Chris Henry Jr. is about the same height, right?
Yeah, Chris Henry Jr. is every bit of 6'6". Trust me, I met him in person.
Yeah, no, but you're right. We would see what the Buckeyes do with him. I think that, I mean, there's so many things. I'll try not to speculate, but you could play defensive end at 6'7". I mean, there has to be some good defensive ends out there that are 6'7". Sorry, I feel a little unprepared for the show, Dev, and I apologize. But
I know, dude. Hey, listen. I know that's on me. Funky. Realistically, I was just going over these 27 recruits until you got on here. So, guys, we're gonna switch this up. I'm gonna switch over. There's plenty of time to hit on the 2027 class, Funky, but there has been today. 247 came out with the new rankings, right, for the 26 class. And lo and behold, you'll never guess, Funky, who they put as a top 50 player in the nation. You'll never guess. I was pounding the table the last two shows about Con 3 and how bad they are at these evaluations. And lo and behold, guys, guess what? Kayden Dixon-Wyatt got moved from the 61st player in the nation to the 47th player in the nation per 247. That is on par with his talent. But unfortunately today, Funky, I told the chat already, I literally just texted his mom. I'm going to find out some more information. But there's a pretty big rumor floating around. What have you heard about Kayden Dixon-Wyatt in this 26 class?
Yeah, I mean, I heard Uncle Buck posted in on our threads that seems like Kayden Dixon-Wyatt's talking to USC again. So, I mean, you know me, I really don't think there's that many people online that have a better idea of what USC football can do that I don't know, that I can't have, just being in the LA area, having a lot of friends who have parents who are, big time donors at USC who love talking to me. So I just shot one of them a text literally before we got on as I was slow jogging to the car. And I literally just got a text back now, Devan. I mean, and they confirmed to me that they are talking to Kayden Dixon-Wyatt, and I asked him for a scale 1 to 10 how confident he is that Kayden Dixon-Wyatt is going to flip. And he's like, he said somewhere between a 4 and a 5. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said somewhere between 4 and a 5. But you also got to remember, when I'm asking a USC guy that, they always tend to be a little more optimistic. So if I really would have to put that in Buckeye terms, I would say that's a 2 or a 3 maybe. So I really don't see that. I don't see it happening from that sense, because if he was confident about it and he really felt like there is some smoke or some fire, then he would have said, 7 or 8. Just kind of like us with CJ Brana, like everything's pointing towards him flipping, and we would put our confidence as like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. But the longer this goes on, I mean, realistically, it goes down a little bit, and I'm sure that it's not actually like our confidence is. We're probably a little overconfident, and just that's every fan base when it comes to flipping kids. Genuinely, they always tend to be a little more confident, and as they should be, because they're being told positive stuff. Because Kayden Dixon-Wyatt isn't going there and telling them, "Heck no, I'm not going here." He's telling them, "Oh no, I'm interested and I'm looking forward," and blah blah blah. So just coach talk, and like rarely do recruits tell the team kind of to F off. They just don't do that. Yeah. So that tends to lead everyone to be a little overconfident.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. Kayden's mom just texted me right now and said she's calling me in 10 minutes. So, Funky, I might put the mic on mute when she calls, talk to her for a second while you talk, and I'll give you literally a live update. But let me start with this. USC has been in constant contact with Kayden's mom. This is her calling right now. Funky, should I answer?
Yes, I could yap to the chat for a while.
I'll be right back.
Don't worry about it. I'll be here, though.
All right.
So yeah, so while Devan takes that call, I guess we'll take the time I can answer any questions in the chat. I'll just be looking at it. I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here. And this just shows like the live time updates of recruiting and the work Devan and I and Caleb and Bill Green put into this recruiting thing. And it's constant. Information is free flowing and it's crazy. So it's literally 24/7. I find myself going on my phone a little bit too much. How many more 2026? I'd say one. I think we take one more. I think CJ Brown commits. I don't see anyone else jumping in as of right now. I know there's smoke around that LSU defensive lineman, and it's possible, but not sure. And surprised nothing from Brown. I wouldn't say I'm surprised because Florida's they're not going to just let him go. They're not going to let him escape. I really like the Buckeyes' chances. I think he ends up a Buckeye, but I think Florida's going to give him a little more stuff to think about. And I think this Lane Kiffin smoke is real when it comes to Florida, even though, how much can I say about this? I have to be a little trouble what I can say about the Kiffin stuff because of how close I am to that situation, knowing his daughters and being really, really close to that family. So I got to be a little for what I say about the Kiffin stuff, but the smoke to Florida is definitely real. As real as people think, I don't know, but I would say there's a little bit of truth to it, and that's what I'll say. Yeah, 29 commits. I don't see us hitting 30, but it could happen. It depends who wants to jump in the class. It depends who. We're still talking to more 5-stars than that, so it could be more just a matter of who possibly could it be? If Tyler Atkinson wants in the class, if Steve Sarkisian goes to the NFL, then hey, you take a little more calls. If Lane Kiffin, how about he doesn't even go to a team? How about he goes to the NFL? Think about that. Then all of a sudden, Ole Miss, LSU, and Florida are going to be up the grab. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because how about LSU kids are being told Lane Kiffin's coming, and Lane Kiffin doesn't come, and then they want to jump ship. So a lot of questions to be asked, and there could be a lot of freshmen on the market come December, whenever Lane Kiffin just makes his decision. Or maybe he doesn't make a decision. Maybe he waits to the end of the year and then goes to the NFL after the Ole Miss Rebels get eliminated or win the national championship. So a lot of things that I'm thinking about when it comes to that. But yeah. Yeah, but I appreciate you guys being here. And we'll see what Devan has to say when he comes back. But live time news. It does not get any better than this. So he's still texting, he's still talking. This is great. Oh,
Okay, Funky, you there?
We're here, Devan.
All right. Yeah, it's a complete rumor. As I was about to say before, they have never stopped trying to flip Kayden Dixon-Wyatt. His mom's very open about that every time I talk to her. Oregon and USC are constantly calling and texting her phone. Kayden doesn't talk to other people much at all. He's a very quiet individual, but Heartline has a very, very, very good relationship with Kayden and with his mom. Like, they talk every single week. They are in love with the Buckeyes. After the playoffs, Kayden and his mom will be on this show. Now, that being said, all I'm doing is reporting what I am being told. I've been told that before. You know what I'm saying, Funky?
Yep.
I've been told that before. But you can't get more of a live update than that. I said, hey, there's another rumor started about Kayden flipping. Nope, we are locked in with the Buckeyes. We don't have time right now to even think about anything else. But obviously USC and Oregon are talking and calling every moment that they get. So, but
sorry, I got to add something to that because it comes up with Kayden Dixon. There's a really, really good idea you can get from how teammates are thinking. Just look at what high school they go to, and I look at what cornerback commits that are maybe in the class of 2027 are really high on the Buckeyes board, and they have a really good. In the Buckeyes, I'm not going to put in a prediction for the Buckeyes just yet, but I will say I really do think the Buckeyes lead for both of those cornerbacks out of modern day. Obviously, USC is still very, very much in the mix of both of them, as USC is, a very good program, definitely on the uptick. And they're LA kids, they're modern day kids. USC should have a really tight grip on them. But I would say Buckeyes and USC are 1 and 2 for both of them. And that doesn't just grow on trees. These kids talk. There's locker rooms. Like, you think if Kayden Dixon-Wyatt was really not focused on Ohio State, that these kids from California, from modern day, would even consider Ohio State? No.
Yeah.
Like, they talk. Yeah. Like, it's an open secret. Like, Kayden, I always have agreed with you on that, Devin. Like, Kayden Dixon-Wyatt wasn't going to flip. I always thought it was BS, and that makes a lot of sense. Like, of course, USC is going to talk to him. He's a top 50 player from modern day. Again, they're not going to let him go to Ohio State. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And let me make this clear. I mean, when Kayden signed with the Buckeyes, he immediately turned down double the money at Oregon right then and there. That's factual. That's not a guess. So Kayden is, I've interviewed Kayden on here. I've talked to him from time to time. He is just not that dude, right? His mom, what they have sacrificed for football, and they're in love with Ohio State, okay? And Danny Lang, actually, Funky, is one of the corners you're talking about at modern day. I did put a pick in for him to be a Buckeye. I met with him. I talked with him personally. I watched him play at SFE. I watched him play St. Thomas Aquinas, talked to him after that game. The only team that he said it's all Buckeyes. The dude was decked out in Ohio State gear, but we know everything could change. But yes, I put a pick in for him a while ago, and yeah, you're right. The Buckeyes are in the lead there, but things can change. But listen, I feel good with Kayden Dixon-Wyatt, but remember, we do have 5 wide receivers in this class already. Okay, wide receiver, you will never, if Brian Hartline is here, you will never see me freak out about the wide receiver position. I'm about to say something that's probably going to make some people mad. Chris Henry Jr. could flip tomorrow, and I'll be upset for 24 hours, and then I will immediately get over it.
24 hours, Devin? I don't think I'd even be upset for that long. I'd be like,
yeah, I was going to say, well. I know, bro.
Like, seriously, that's not just coping. That's just real. That's for most recruits, especially wide receivers. I'm like, what? Like Chris Henry Jr., don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be a star. But kids who flip from Ohio State, the wide receiver position, I question how serious they take football. Yeah, how did that go for that 2023 kid? 2024. Sorry, same class as JJ and Mylan. Like, how did that go for him? That Oregon, he flipped to Oregon on signing day or right around signing day. Yeah, I'm sure that went well for him. I don't think I know for a fact he hasn't played. I don't think he's even close to seeing the field. So it's just flipping from Ohio State, not a smart idea. Chris would never do that for them because football is bigger.
It was McLean. Very good, Pinky. That was the wide receiver that switched. But that was not a shot at Chris Henry Jr. The dude is an elite football player.
Super
elite. You guys know why I said that. But yeah, he both Kayden and Chris have both publicly shut down their recruitment twice. Let me remind you guys of that. Chris Henry Jr. has publicly said, I'm locked in. My recruitment is shut down twice, bro. Twice. Kayden Dixon-Wyatt committed. A week later, he said his recruitment is shut down. Okay, so both of them guys have done it publicly. This is going to come up. There'll be a story about, here's one, Funky, that's 100% going to come up. I promise you before signing day, a rumor will start about Kari Wilder flipping. That's a fact. I guarantee it. There'll be a rumor started somewhere.
Guess. To USC or to Oregon?
Yeah, you'll never guess.
Yeah, you'll never guess. That one's going to be such a joke because that kid fell in love with Ohio State, and Ohio State went all in on this kid when he was the 200th ranked player in the class, and he's jumped 200 spots pretty much, and he's in the top. He was 11th overall according to Rivals, and like 40 something according to 40th for 247. And it's just to make it clear, me personally, I take the Rivals on 3 rankings a little more serious than I do the 247 rankings. I think the 247 rankings still should be looked at and taken with seriousness. ESPN, total trash. Don't ever look at it. I don't care where the Buckeyes ranked. I think they're even favorable to some Buckeye commits, but that's my personal opinion. I look at on 3 and Rivals and 247, and you could also just look at them because they're both. They both try their best. I don't think there's any real bad faith in their rankings, but also just impossible of a job to have. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't put really like any time in thinking into it that much, because you could look at a player, Devin, and think, oh, he's like really good, and you can look at another player and think, oh, he's really good, and like you would think they're like the same level of quality, but they'd be 200 spots apart, because the difference between the 200th ranked kid and the 50th ranked kid really isn't that much. It's like very very small. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so, man. I mean, yeah, these rankings. Yeah, you look at, Emmanuel Ruffin is the number 146 player, and he's not ranked on On3. 247. He's got Kayden at 47 and not ranked over there. It's a really hard job to do. I will say I do think there's a little biased in there. I'm not sure it's towards Ohio State. I think it's towards players that go to camps, that do the interviews.
That's true.
The players that can get them clicks, right? I mean, this is a business, so there's a business part of it. But what I do is I watch a lot of film. I watch a lot of these recruits' films. Like if Ohio State offers them, I watch the film, and then I go look at the rankings on both sites, and I see if that kind of matches up with the film. Kayden's film does not match On3's ranking. Maxwell Riley's film does not match any site's ranking at all. Let me give you guys a little update. 247 took Chris Henry from number 40 to number 32, so he's in the 5-star status there. They took Sincere Johnson from 85 to number 40. They took Jay Timmons from the number 247 to the number 45. I already told you Kayden. They took Sam Greer, 75 to 63. Kyler Wilder with the big jump from 198 to 78. They plummeted, or not really. Blaine Bradford went down from 60 to 142. Emmanuel Ruffin went from 123 to 146. Yeah, the Blaine Bradford thing, that's I don't know what that's about. Legend Bay shot up from 382 to 149. Jaquaden Guilford went from 368 to 164. Maxwell Riley went from 93 to 168. Jordan Thomas, 135 to 175. Kamari Bing, listen to this, went from the 1,307th ranked player in the nation to the 205th ranked player in the nation. Simeon Caldwell dropped 101 spots to 220, and Dre Quinn rose 144 spots to 233. So those are like the significant ones there. If I look at this, the rankings that don't match up with the film, Blaine Bradford is a top 5 safety in this class. Funky, can we agree with that or no?
Top, 5 is, there's definitely not 5 better than he is.
That's generous.
Yeah.
That's
Five's being negative, actually. Yeah. I think that's
what
probably,
I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I knew what you meant. I'm just clarifying. Yeah.
Yeah. Maxwell Riley, I don't know. I might be able to get on board with 168, because 168 in the nation is a fire ranking. I guess let's get that straight real fast. If you're ranked in the top 300 in the entire country, that's pretty good, isn't it, Funky?
Yeah, no, that's
good.
That's why for me, like, I'm like the 168th kid up to like the 50th kid really doesn't mean much. I think the real like impact players that look different, there's probably like 20 of them. 20, probably,
I would say 22.
Yeah, there's a reason why they do 32 5-stars, because usually there's about, around that range of kids, like around, I'm going to say 32 just because it's how many 5-stars, but that's kind of a true statement. There's about 32 kids a class that kind of look apart, So right when you get off those top 30 kids in the class, then they all, to me, and I'm saying to me as I grew up watching so much football, like it's kind of ridiculous. I always kind of laugh, because when I would go watch my high school games, and again, I'm a 5'10", 140-pound runner, Devin. So when I'm watching these games and I'm like in my head, like just judging what I'm like, oh, he's not that athletic, and it's like a 6'2", 180-pound guy who could beat the crap out of me. But like in my head, I'm like, he's mid, not that good from like whatever, my high school or whatever. Because all my life I grew up watching these freaks of nature, from Bosco to Modern Day to where Sierra, like it's just like, so my standard of players just kind of gets screwed up a little bit in that sense. But one thing I do realize is like there's only a few that you could really, really point out and be like, oh, he's something else. Like that's how I felt about when I watched Joey Bosa play when I was like, how old was I? I was like 9 or 10 years old. And I remember watching Joey Bosa play and being like idolized. And when the Elite 11 happened, that's what I thought about Julian Sane. I was like, wow, Julian Sane looks different. That's also how I felt about what's his name? What was his name? Was it? I forget. It was that Oklahoma quarterback, the one that transferred to South Carolina. Whatever. I watched him play, and I was like, okay, that guy's different. Didn't end up panning out that much, but it's those type of players that it's really hard. And also the offensive line, it's impossible to rank too, Devin. So like, what's the difference between the 160th offensive lineman and the 50th? Probably literally nothing. Actually nothing.
Yeah. Philip Daniels was ranked outside the thousands. Austin Sarahville was a 3-star. Luke Montgomery was a 4-star. Carson Hinsman was a 4-star. Tegra was obviously top 100. Gabe Van Sickle was, I believe, at one point ranked in the 500s. I think we flipped Gabe Van Sickle from Northwestern. I think I'm correct there. Maybe I'm right. But Gabe Van Sickle was a flip at the last moment. I do know that. So, yeah, offensive line, is definitely a hard one to rank. But it all gets proven on the field. Jalen McClain was a 3-star. So, like, literally, guys, put this in the context, right? Put these recruiting ranks in the context of why do we care if these football players are ranked high? The only thing we care about is that they come and help our team win football games, right? Does their ranking have anything to do with whether they can come help our football team win football games? No. It has absolutely nothing to do with what they come to Ohio State and do. It is literally a made-up thing for football fans to pay attention to, another business avenue to make money. It's just another side gig that has come off of football. Recruiting rankings literally mean nothing. College schools don't even look at the rankings. They have their own evaluations. They don't even look at it. Like, literally, there is no real value in looking at these recruiting rankings other than being a fan and it being fun to talk about, to watch, to the competitiveness of, hey, are we going to have a top 5 class? We're going to have the number 1 class. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It matters what we do on the field.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why the rankings they're so fun to look at. And obviously we talk about it, and there's a reason why we talk about it, because it makes it, it's an easy way for people to follow it, and even easy to make it for me and yourself to not have to watch 1,000 people's film and kind of watch, 300 or whatever, or not even 300, whatever people Ohio State offer. And then we can just see how that does and match it with, okay. And just over time, you can start comparing it and being a little smarter of a football player in that sense, or football watcher, I'll say, in that sense. But that's why I don't really worry if Ohio State's class ends up 7th, 8th, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. It's like all the same. Like, as long as you're in that competitive range between where 1 and, I'd say, like, real competitive range, like a great classes are like somewhere between like 1 and 7, 1 and 8. I feel like that's usually the range. Or usually about 7, 8 classes that I'm like, okay, those are real good classes. So as long as Ohio State's in that range, ends at, according to 247 on 3 or whoever the heck, then that's a good spot to be in, or a real good spot, and that's going to give Ohio State a chance to compete for a national title every year. You probably want to avoid those classes that rank outside the top 10. But again, when's the last time Ohio State had a class outside the top 10? It was, I can answer that question. It was 2019, Ryan Day's 10, or the year Urban left, where Urban was leaving, and it was Ryan Day having to put in, and it was a really small class, but it was a high average class, just smaller class. And so that's the last time we had a class outside the top 10. So as long as we avoid that, which we're doing, but yeah, we have the 5th ranked class in the nation, Devin. And by chance, do you know who has the, outside the top 10 class, 12th class?
I do.
You do? Oh, yeah. It's Michigan. It's Michigan, guys. Do you remember all that? Or actually, I'm not even, when I say this, I'm not even trying to troll any of you guys. I'm kind of trolling myself a little bit. I was a little worried. I was like, wow, are they really going to have just as good recruiting class as us this year, or very similar? Oh man, I was wrong.
Yo, check this out, Funky. And they've spent more money than we have.
Oh, for sure. Oh gosh. Oh, 10-folds more money than we have. Like that's not even a little bit comparable. And there's a few guys in their class too. And one, by the way, they have a kid that's ranked top 30 according to On3. That's kind of flip to South Carolina here soon enough, and they're not really in it with any kids that are flipping.
Backups.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
they'll be around that same. They're not moving from 12. I'll tell you that. They're not moving up. They're just going to be on the downward trend, which is fine for them. Like 12th is just what they've been doing for the last 10 years. That's not some crazy
That's
coincidence.
really good for the past 10 years.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, that's about what they've been.
For them.
You know, it's about what they've been. They've been around 8 to 19 throughout my last 10 years of really following this. So, I mean, it's okay, but they're just going to be the same average team that they've been. But you know what can make them not average, Devin? Leaving the Big Ten. So they don't have to play us every year, Devin. They're leaving the Big Ten. Go make your Notre Dame schedule.
They would literally lose all their relevance, Funky.
They would.
Mean, the only relevance that they have is because they're attached to Ohio State and that they're their rival. That and cheating. Those are the two things. Their relevance does not come from what they have done on the football field in the last 25 years. They have faded out. Back in the day when they got to play high school teams, they were dominant. Now, I mean, the past 25 years, they're completely irrelevant. The only reason they're so popular is because they're Ohio State's rival and because they committed the largest on-field cheating scandal in any sport ever. Literally.
In my lifetime, Devin. Sorry, in my lifetime, they've won one New York Six Bowl. Yeah, bro. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but it was 2023 Rose Bowl first. I mean, probably one of the worst Bama teams that somehow almost won the Natty in our lifetime. So, yeah, seriously, in my lifetime, they've won. From my memory, I can think back all the way up until 2010, and I assume before that they're on the decline. So I don't believe since 2005 they've won a national championship. Yes, I gave up my age there. Yes, I'm pretty young, but
all right, here we go. We got 1998 Rose Bowl, 2000 Orange Bowl, 2012 Sugar Bowl.
Who do they play in that Sugar Bowl?
Virginia Tech, and they won by 3.
Okay.
And listen, and Rose Bowl. So Rose Bowl, yep. And that was it right there.
So they've won 2 in my lifetime. The Sugar Bowl in 2012. What was their record that year, perchance? 11-2?
When the Sugar Bowl.
Did they lose to Ohio State that year? 2012, they did, correct? Or was that the year they beat us?
I don't know.
Shoot, I don't remember. So they might have beat us that year. Wait, was that because that must have been 2011 and we lost in 2011, or was that 2000? Shoot, I don't remember.
I'm trying to look.
Was that first year of Urban or Tress year? Or sorry, not Tressel year. Luke Fickle year. Now we're having fun.
Oh, for sure. That's what we're doing. Let me see. Okay, so they played Nebraska and lost 9-23. They won Minnesota. They beat Northwestern in overtime. Wait, am I looking at 2012? What am I looking at here?
Yeah, we lost in 2011, but the game could have been played in 2012. So that's why I'm just curious.
Ohio State, they lost. We beat them November 24th, 2012. We won 21-26. The year that they won the Sugar Bowl.
Okay, so that doesn't count, Dev. So that doesn't count. So they've won one New York Six Bowl in my lifetime. And it was the same year where they got caught and proven and sentenced for an on-field cheating scandal that cost them a historic fine, bigger than any fine in college football history, the cheating scandal. So if that really doesn't show how irrelevant they've been, like, I mean, I'm like soon to graduate college and working a job and stuff, Dev, and that's how relevant they've been in my lifetime. Where their pride to glory is that. Sorry, yeah.
Dude, speaking of that, I want to stay on that subject. This is the last thing. We'll get off here real fast. We're going to talk about, after the Rutgers game, I'm going into straight scum mode, and you wait till you see my thumbnails and my titles. So far in, it's not even funny. But let's give a little tiny preview here of our thoughts on the game. What do we think Ohio State's going to do? What are you concerned with? What are just anything you want to say about the game? Give us a little 2-5 minute rant of, okay, this is anything you want to say about the Ohio State scum game, even though we've been doing that. But this year's game directly, a little preview to several shows that we're going to be doing. Let's hear it.
We got to, or the first thing I'm going to bring up, the first thing I'm going to bring up is what everyone's going to be watching for the next 10 days once it comes out, the 10-day forecast. The weather. It's going to be the weather. Oh, can we throw it? Can we pass? Can Julian Sane play in the cold? Blah, 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 blah. A bunch of nonsense. So expect a lot of that. Or it's whatever. And could the weather play affect the game for sure? If there's not a torrential downfall, though, or if it's not whatever, super windy, but a tight spiral and Julian's quick release actually plays to advantage in this cold weather. And people are going to talk about the Tennessee game where he kind of shanked that one throw in the dirt. You try sitting on a bench for 2 hours or more than that, 3 hours, and then going out there and trying to play a game in that cold. Yeah, you're not going to look so good. But once he's actually warmed up, ready to go, practicing with the first team outside, he's not going to be worried. You got to remember, he was a third string last year, so he was getting probably close to 0 first team reps, or definitely 0. And he was probably just getting very few second team reps. So he's probably being practice squad the entire time. So, of course, whatever. But people are going to bring that up. But my real thoughts on the game is you got to keep Underwood in the pocket. Don't let him get out to the edge because he's been pretty effective when he's been able to roll out to the pocket and sling it, look down the field and sling it like 100 miles per hour at a guy sitting in between zones and stuff. That's probably been his best thing, and he's going to really try to run the ball because Ohio State's going to not give him a lot of great opportunities to pass it. So you got to make sure Arvell is playing in the role that he's been great at all year. Not that I'm worried about this at all, just stuff that I'd be looking for and why I think Ohio State probably has an advantage of this. He's got to keep him in the pocket, make sure Arvell's, ready to go, healthy, knowing what he's doing like he's been all season, not have Riley Pettijohn out there who's gotten a little lost in those same situations. And you just got to make them beat you. Make them beat you passing the ball. Load the box like it's been every year and trust your cornerbacks. I think our cornerbacks are much better than their wide receivers, even though their wide receivers are no joke. I think the McCauley kid's a good player. Andrew Marsh, he's making plays. He's definitely probably second round pick when he comes out to the draft. But you just got to make Bryce beat you because Bryce is a front runner, and if he beats you, then so be it. Make the true freshman go against your defense and beat you, as we've been the best defense, one of the best defenses I've ever watched. Or I'll say this is arguably the best Ohio State defense I've ever watched. And I would put this Ohio State defense versus any Ohio State defense I've ever seen, and really any defense I've seen, period, outside a few Bama teams. There's a few Bama teams I think I would put ahead of this Ohio State team, but besides just a few of them, and maybe Georgia like 2021 or maybe 22 as well. Not even 21. I'll say that 21. Then this team's there's not really that many defenses comparable. And then offensively, Devan, just a quick rant about the offense. Just pass the dang ball. Pass the dang ball and protect Julian. And just they're just you just gotta pass it. You just have to pass the ball versus them. Don't try to be Mr. Tough Ryan Day and play it how we did Wisconsin, where Wisconsin dominated us up front. I didn't stop Julian from throwing 50 times for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, whatever the heck. Let your receivers make plays. JJ and Carnell are fine. They're 100% playing, 1,000,000% playing, and there's my rant.
Yeah. I mean, defensively, man, just a quick little side note. I couldn't help it. I was thinking about this the other day, comparing last year's defense to this year's defense. The only advantage I'd give last year's defense is at the safety position. That's it, because Lathan Ransom, obviously Jalen McLean's a sophomore. I think he'll end up at that level, but Lathan Ransom was an absolute dog. It's the only position I'm giving last year's defense. And I would say defensive line, but this year's defensive line, man, they seem to be stepping up in a big way. But defensively, I mean, you said it perfectly. I think this has been in the back of the coach's mind as much as they want to get up and say one game at a time. About 4 or 5 games in, Matt Patricia, he unloaded a certain defensive scheme that we've never seen here, and that was the nickel front, right? The 5 defensive linemen where you got Arvell at end and Conyette, Caden Curry at nose tackle. I mean, that will stop the run and contain the quarterback in the pocket. Yeah, as long as you that's their game plan. That's how they have won any game this year, is they just keep stubbornly running it up the middle until they break 1 or 2 long runs. I heard Nevada say the same thing in the previous show. He said it perfectly. In the games they haven't done that, they've had to win with the last second field goal or some miraculous call or something wild. So, and then offensively, it's called Julian Sam, J.J. Smith, Carnell Tate, and Max Clare. Boom, done, over. Throw the ball to one of those three people every single play for all I care, and we will easily walk out of there with the win. Last year, they had a 1% chance to win the game. They won it. That drastically knocks their odds down of winning this year. I did the math earlier. They have a 0.02% chance of winning this year. I did the math. It's accurate. It's factual. 0.02% chance. Don't ask me to show you my work. I don't need to do that. That's just the answer. 0.02% chance that they have of winning the game.
But also, I want to make this abundantly clear, and I know this is going to be an unpopular take with the passionate fans that we have, but if we beat Rutgers, I really don't care. I care, like, we lose, we lose. Like, I'm going to have a real tough time actually really caring, because there's just no one here that can convince, unless we get blown out. I don't want to get blown out. I'd be okay if we lose close. We're not okay. I'll be up. Like, again, I'm never okay with losing, but it will probably affect me for 24 hours because they're not making the playoffs, by the way. Even if they beat us, they're not making the playoffs. And even if you guys, before you say, oh no, a 10-2 Michigan team is for sure making the playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, let me say this, but before you get going, I got to tell you, you are the only person that I have heard say that. And I'm on your side because I read your scoop thing, but you are the only person saying that. Literally everybody else is saying that this is going to be a huge game because if we win, we keep them out of the playoffs. If they win, they get in the playoffs. That's where people are saying that's why this is a big game.
But it's
USC,
not true.
Oregon, I mean, who you kicking out? Like,
they'll make the playoffs. Someone has to miss it. So unless you think that Michigan beating Ohio State by 3 points on, at home versus Ohio State, that's going to make them jump from, because they won't even move at all this week. Like, they're going to be 18th or 17th or at best 16th next week, Like, they're not going to be above. The only team that they could really jump is USC. They could jump USC and Georgia Tech if they lose those two games that you could probably pencil in. So they'll jump from 18th to 16th, and they have to be top 10.
But what if USC beats Oregon this weekend? Then is Michigan getting in over a two-loss USC or a two-loss Oregon team? Who's ranked above them now?
Yeah, is Michigan getting in over an 11-1 BYU team whose only loss is on the road at Texas Tech? No, they're not.
That's a good question.
So, is USC going to jump Oklahoma, 10-2 Oklahoma? Absolutely not. Is USC going to jump the 10-win Bama team if they win out? 100% not. It's Bama. Let's not kid ourselves. Are they going to jump the 10-2 Notre Dame team? 100% not. Are they going to jump the 10-2 Miami team, whose losses to their losses are pretty bad, but to the team that beat Notre Dame? And you also got to remember, if they beat Ohio State, guess what? We're no longer the number one team in the country. The win automatically gets worse. So now we go from 1 to 4. So their best win would be at home versus the number 4 team in the country, while their losses are a blowout loss to USC where they didn't even look close, and a blowout loss to there. So I hate talk. Like, again, I don't want to sound like I'm coping and I'm already putting that we're going to lose, because I'm not. I think we're going to win. I don't think it's going to be close. I think we're going to win by 17 points. That'd be my early prediction right now without putting out a score out there. It's a little too early for that.
Yeah.
But I just got to say that, the notion that they're going to make the playoffs is just ridiculous. Real stuff has to happen. Oklahoma has to lose soon. They have to lose the next 2 games. Bama has to lose to Auburn. BYU probably slip up for Cincinnati. A lot of stuff has to happen on top of them winning out. And I'm not even sure if they're going to beat Maryland. So
exactly. You took the words out. I was about to say the same thing, bro. They just barely beat Northwestern. What are we doing?
And winning close clearly matters. Look how the committee's been ranking these teams. An ugly win matters to them, and an ugly loss matters to them. And a good loss matters to them as well. If you look good in losing, they can let you slide. If you look bad in losing, then they're gonna punish you. You gotta remember, Michigan has 2 losses, but it's bad losses. It's blowout losses. They got murdered in both games. They weren't even close at USC. Trust me, I was there. It was embarrassing, or not embarrassing. Oh, I was having a great time. But then they look horrible versus Purdue, horrible versus Northwestern, and they look at those as well. Your season's not a 1-game season. It's a 12-game season, and guess what? The committee doesn't care about one game. So we'll see.
Yeah.
They would have to blow us out for them to make the playoffs, or just a bunch of wild crap happens. So
yeah, lot of variables there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of variables there. I love it though. I'm on your side because I don't like him. The only reason I do care a lot about this game is just because I want to see them get what they deserve, right?
True.
But
yeah.
I care as much as you can possibly care about playing a team that spit in the face of all of college football and just absolutely disrespected every team in the nation. They disrespected everybody with what they did. So I care as much as one could possibly care about them, but they lost all my respect in terms of the rivalry. I don't care in that sense. Like if you somehow come out and beat us, I'm not going to give you the status. I'm not going to give you that power of being Ohio State's that rival anymore. Like at that level, I want to beat you because you deserve that. You don't deserve to win the game at all. You're not on our level. In any way, integrity on the field, any of that stuff. And yeah, I don't know that I'm ever going to get over that, but I'll always go back to what they did and how they, it's how they treated human beings, to be honest with you. Some people might say, oh my gosh, that's awful deep there. Just think about what they did to players on the other teams, coaches on the other teams. That's just complete selfishness, arrogance, and just don't care about anybody. So I'm not going to give them that power anymore. I understand the history behind the rivalry game. And yes, I'm going to be stoked about the game. I want to absolutely smash their teeth in. If we lose, yes, I will be very upset. But the next day we're going to be on to the playoffs, man. We're on to the playoffs. So yeah. I literally will forget about that. They can run their mouths all they want, but it is what it is. So ultimately I want to win, because I don't want – that's what they deserve. They deserve to lose, and I just really don't want to hear their mouths anymore. But outside of that, whatever,
hear me out,
man.
Devan.
We're gonna be off to playoffs.
Just hear me out on this scenario. I know the whatever. Again, sorry for it's a quote-unquote negativity and talking about doomsday and the fact we lose as 2 touchdown favorites. Not that it hasn't happened before, but just saying, just let me go with it, whatever. If we lose to Michigan, where do we fall to? The number 4? We're not number 4 seed about? Would be about the 4 seed? Let's say worst case scenario, Devan. Worst case scenario, they drop us 5 because Georgia wins out and Texas Tech wins out and A&M and Indiana win out. Those 4 teams are ranked ahead of us. They give us the 5 seed. The God forbid they give us the 5 seed. Who do we play in the first round of the playoffs as the 5 seed? So we don't have to play in the Big Ten championship game, so we miss that game. And then who do we play at home in Columbus? North Texas, JMU, Tulane. And then who would we play in the second round? Texas Tech in a neutral site game? Yeah, that's fine. Give me that path. That path. We'll run it. I'll bet. Give me that path. Now that seems like a warm-up game versus Tulane where we win by 50, and then we get ourselves heated up for Texas Tech. That's not bad. Yeah, because we're at the 5th seed. We get a home game versus the 12 seed. So then we play neutral site game the rest of the way. That seems like a totally fine path to me. Truly, no, honest to God, that seems like a totally 100% fine path to me. And then we have to play the 1 seed in the next round, who could be Indiana. So we have to go Texas Tech, Indiana, and then another team in the Natty. Yeah, that's fine. That's as easy as you could possibly get. There's no easy path this year because of the way they format the playoffs. Unless upsets happen, then there's no easy path. Unless there's upsets. But Funky, most likely not. Yeah, sorry. You go.
I do want to say this, man. I was under the impression, right, this Big Ten game, this Big Ten champ game, I know that it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of your goal to win a national title. But I don't know. I think Ryan Day convinced me that he's going to treat the Big Ten game, right, as a very big deal. Did he convince you in his press conference? He talked about it, how they had none of the players on this team have been to Indy. That's one of their goals. I mean, it sounded like he was going to go all out. I mean, it sounded like, hey, dude, like we're talking about, hey, if a player is feeling a little rough, set him out because it doesn't mean anything. The way Day is talking, it's the opposite of that. The way Day is talking, It's, hey, dude, like, but is that coach talk? What's your thoughts?
Devin, come on. That's coach talk, my guy. That's what is he gonna say? Yeah, actually, like we don't give a shit about. I'm sorry, wow. We don't care about the big. We're just gonna play our backups, make the committee, stand up to the committee. I got you, and that's all the 3 weeks away. I'm sure Ryan's just like, let's get there first. Let's get there first, sure. And we can do it. Like, but Ryan Day's not gonna give an answer right now. Like just with Garnell and JJ, what is he gonna say? Oh, they're 100% healthy and they're playing. No, they're trying to get back on the field because what are they trying to do? They're trying to get back on the field. So it's like, yeah, I mean, come on. That's just people overreact over the little stuff. Oh, since Ryan Day said they're trying to get healthy again, that means they're out for the year. Cornell talked to his agent and all that. Total lies and just untrue and just, it's a joke. They're both going to play versus Michigan. I mean, unless, God forbid, there's some hiccups or some stuff that hasn't happened yet. Because it's very unlikely going to happen. So, yeah, I mean, anything can happen. Any player can get injured. I mean, this time last week, I think actually a year ago today, our Remington Award center went out with a season-ending injury like 4 days before the Indiana game or whatever the heck he went out. So stuff could happen. Freak accidents can happen. But God forbid those happen, then we're going to have a fully healthy team entering the game. So It's not another JSN. Oh, gosh. It's nothing like that. And it's just, yeah, whatever. I just hate I get we have PTSD from that situation, but that was so different. JSN was in and then got banged up, out for a few weeks, and then rushed back, got re-aggravated it, and then still injured. Like he was like not even fully healthy up until the Georgia game. And if he would have played the Georgia game, then he could have probably played, but it's just like, are you really gonna do that? Like you haven't played all season, man. Like, come on. Whatever. So I don't blame him for that. And this is, and again, like, yeah. Well, okay, yeah. Sorry, that's just my 2 cents on that.
It wasn't a 12-team playoff scenario back then either. So yeah, a lot of things are different. But yeah, man, good stuff, dude. We're getting into some time. I mean, Ohio State Rutgers this weekend. Obviously, I love watching the Buckeyes any game. Going to be doing a live stream, a live watch party at some point in time. During that watch party, I will be asking a trivia question for a $50 giveaway. So tune in, man. And I'm not going to tell you when it is. So you got to watch the entire stream. If you want a chance to win $50, you can take your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your dog, your cat, your bird, whatever you want out to eat with that $50. Do whatever you want with it. So yeah, but Buckeye recruiting on a Terra still. The Buckeyes starting to do a little planning for the Scum game. We'll get into that. Don't forget the Friday before the Scum game, there'll be a very long live show here on the Buckeye Boys channel where I'll have guests, all kind of guests on. I'll be reaching out to a lot of YouTube shows that you guys probably watch and a couple people from the other side as well. Last year I did a 6-hour live stream. I will not be doing 6 hours again. Let me tell you that. But now I'll be getting on here, Funky, Nevada, B. Moses, Cleveland Mike. I'm going to be reaching out to all. I might try to get Juck on here, get his takes. I'm reaching out to everybody. Had a big-time guest list last year, so we'll see what happens. Funky, any final thoughts?
I can commit to this. I can commit to that this year because
That's right. You weren't here last year. You snubbed me. I remember
a little bit. I'm sorry. It was not really. I was traveling. Come on. Yeah. But I'll be cozy in my home, ready to watch the game the next morning because I was outlawed from going to the game. I had tickets booked, to the game, and Pops and Mother said, you are absolutely not going. And then maybe cancel it, refund it, and everything.
Chat, real fast. If you think you're a troll to Scum at games, let me tell you something. You're not. You haven't met. Funky is the winner of trolling that team. Really, just you're the winner of being an Ohio State fan at the game. I remember after the national title game, you just could not talk, right? We're walking into the game like an hour and a half before the game, and every 10 minutes, OH, and it's not a little tiny OH. Funky is screaming at the top of his lungs, OH. That's the first time I ever met him. I'm like, bro, I wish I was sitting beside these guys so bad, man, because I would totally be right there. But if me and you went to the Scum game together, Funky, boy.
One last story before we go out. I don't think I've told this. We were walking out from the USC Michigan game, and I'm with a lot of my buddies because we were planning to go to this game for like a while. It just worked out. It was like parents' weekend for a lot of other schools, so I was with about like 15 of my buddies. Like, most of them go to USC. A lot of them, some of them went to Michigan, a few of them, and then a lot of them just went to random schools, Texas, whatever, Boston College, Boston University, et cetera, et cetera. And we're going outside the game, and I just start blaring on my speaker the Mr. Brightside song as we're walking in the tunnel, the tunnels at the Coliseum echo really loud. So I'm blaring Mr. Brightside, screaming, OH! And there's other Ohio State fans in the same tunnel, and they're, yo! And there's like Michigan fans all leaving early because we left about like with 3 minutes left in the game, because they were down by like 30. So just blaring loud, and there's like Michigan fans literally in front of me, probably wanting to strangle me. Then I start blaring Mr. Brightside, screaming it, just like, why aren't we having fun? Why is no one singing with me? Wearing my Ohio State jersey. It was trolly and it was exciting, and I'll do it again. I'll do it again, Devan. But that's my last thing from me today. This has been a great show, Devan.
Yeah, I love it. Been a fun show, man. I appreciate you for joining me, bro. Again, be hopping on tomorrow. Brady Edmonds is scheduled to come on, so tune in there. He'll possibly be getting pretty involved in the Buckeye Boys channel. You might be seeing a lot of Brady Edmonds coming up here lately, but we will see how that goes. On that note, guys, hit the like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button on the Scoop channel and the Buckeye Boys channel. We're trying to get to that 37K mark. Help us do that. Head over to the Apple Podcast. Give us a review. Give us a like over there on the Scoop channel, and head over to Scoop message board if you're not over there. I mean, just today, the helping technician got on there and put a defensive nugget on there about the Buckeyes, their plans for the Scum game. Go check that out. Read that as well. On that note, guys, we appreciate the heck out of you guys. We love you. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.